This girl took pictures of her dog eating peanut butter off of her vagina and then sent it to her boyfriend. He proceeded to share it with the whole school, and then the teachers found out. Teachers of Reddit, what's your most NSFW story from your workplace? I'm so glad you can make it to another one of my chill story times. If we haven't met yet, I'm Andrew, and I'll be narrating today's stories. Before we start the video, why not like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell button so that you don't miss any more NSFW story times with me. Let's not fool around anymore and get into the video. Well, I taught first grade, so nothing as wild as these other stories, but a student did come to school wearing her mom's bachelorette dick tiara once. That was entertaining. Some kids found the typing programming teacher on Grindr, catfished him. He sent multiple dick pics that he took on campus to the kids. Police had to get involved. Had a student run up to me and say that someone had been stabbed in the girls' room. Turns out that a 5th grader had started their period. She later got to talk when she got home. I walked out of class during a prep period to go upstairs to talk with another teacher. In the stairwell there was a female student blowing a male student. The worst thing was she didn't stop even after I yelled. Many things have happened at my school, but this is the only one I have personally witnessed. Had a kid in 2nd grade caught fingering a 2nd grade girl in the physical education locker room after school. Apparently they were both from abusive families, and they were victims of sexual abuse by their dads. Not the same dad, obviously. That's the ducked up part, both their dads were sexually abusing those kids, and they coped by trying sexual stuff on each other at the age of 8. I will take this in a different direction. My first week of teaching had its ups and downs. I was teaching a PE class and had a new kindergarten class for the first time. A few minutes into class, a little 5-year-old boy raises his hand. "Mr. Teacher, I have a problem. My PP is really hard right now and I don't know what to do." Holding in every ounce of laughter I had, I told him I was sorry and that we would talk about his problem in a few minutes. Not long after, he raises his hand again. "Yes, Caleb? Don't worry. It's not a problem anymore," he tells me with the biggest smile on his face. Gotta love teaching elementary. I've told this story several times, but here goes. I was an occasional substitute teacher in the town where I went to college. The band director often requested me to come teach if she was out sick, since I was a music major and could work with the kids on their parts. Get in for a day, and my instructions were to break the kids up by section and have them practice their parts. I spent the next hour listening to a miasma of sounds from woodwinds, brass, strings, etc., but no drumming. If you don't know any drummers, they're always playing or banging on their laps, tables, steering wheels, etc. Curious me goes to investigate the drum room, and I walked in on the token female drummer flashing her breasts to the boys in exchange for money. Not me, but the woman who taught across the hall from me. She was teaching a 9th grade math class, and her classroom had those old-fashioned pencil sharpeners that attach to the wall, and you turn the lever to sharpen your pencil. One of her students was sharpening her pencil every day during class and seemed to take a long time to do so because each time she would stand at the back of class sharpening her pencil for 2 minutes or so. After a week or so of this, the teacher went to ask if the student needed help sharpening her pencil. Turns out the girl was putting her vag up against the pencil sharpener and was using the vibrations to get off in the middle of math class. I walked in on the gym teacher and the art teacher having sex. Right in the staff room. The art teacher had the gym teacher bent over the couch and was going to town. Not the way I wanted to start my day, but they seemed to have started it out well. Edit, lol, I didn't realize how many of you would want to know the sex of the teachers. Both are men. Edit 2. Holy crap, some of you have amazing imaginations. I was a teacher 2010 to 2015. I was teaching at an all-girls high school, and there was this student teacher from a local university. He was 19 or 20. He was always being a jerk to this one senior at the school. I thought it a bit odd he was always focusing on her. Fast forward a few months and it was post-graduation. I was out at a local bar and looked over and saw them together there. A co-worker said they had been screwing for the past few months. I asked him how he knew. There was a smaller teacher's lounge in one of the wings of the school. As there weren't normal classes in that wing, it was not frequented and the setup wasn't as nice. He said he popped in there one day and she was down on her knees blowing him. He closed the door and walked away. Not long after, the student teacher found him in his class and asked him what he saw. My co-worker was a bit stunned and said he wasn't sure. The student teacher said that he should keep what he saw to himself or the truth could get twisted against him. He implied the senior would state she was going down on my co-worker and not the student teacher. There were no cameras or anything in that area, so my co-worker decided to keep his mouth shut. I was a student taught in a rough high school. A girl got suspended because she snuck into the auditorium and literally had a line of kids getting blowjobs from her and paying her, then heading back to class. Edit, remembered another one from the same school. There was a girl who was in a wheelchair, and I asked my teacher I worked with what happened. She told me that the girl had a boyfriend the year before and then cheated on him, and the boyfriend shot her in the leg, and now she can't walk ever again. Edit again. I may be wrong about her being shot in the leg, it may have been her back, which would make way more sense, lol. It was 5 years ago, sorry. A professor of mine recently told me a story about a student of his who gave him a flash drive to hand in an assignment. When my prof plugged the flash drive in and opened the folder the student told him to open, he came across pages and pages of hardcore porn. He, as politely as possible, was like, "Are you sure it's in this folder?" To which the student, who was not looking at the screen, was like, "Yeah, it's in there, keep looking." After scrolling some more, my prof called the student over to the computer and was like, pretty sure it's not in here." Of course, the student was beyond embarrassed. He will definitely never ever forget that one. P.S. Imagine if the assignment was in the porn folder, though. Like, the student came over to the screen and saw all the porn and was like, "Oh yeah, just scroll down a little more." Subbed at a school years ago. A teacher broke up with a student he'd been statutory raping. She got upset with him and told people they'd been having sex with each other. Then another girl revealed that she'd been having sex with him too. Then a girl who'd graduated the year before said they'd been together as well. And then another, from even earlier. It turned out this teacher, who was coach for one of the girls' sports teams, had been using that team as his own personal harem for over a decade, finding, grooming and seducing at least a dozen high school girls. The school district paid an unspecified amount of money to a lot of people to have him quietly resign and leave town. Edit. It's depressing how many people read this and ask if I taught at their high school, because something just like this happened there. This incident was almost 30 years ago in the US Northeast. Well, I was an elementary custodian for 6 years. I have poop stories for days. The little smudges of poop all over a stall is like a crime scene. I can see where they tried to get paper and clean up, then failing that they tried to wipe enough off on the floor and walls, then all over the door, finally they used the sink. A couple times I walked into a stall and found full-on finger paintings. A house and stick figure family, in poop. But what seemed worse to me was finding an unflushed log with no paper. Some kid was just sloshing around the rest of the day. And I swear, 3rd and 4th grade girls would clog the damn thing with a lot bigger than my forearm. I would clean the bathroom like 5 hours after school got out too, so it would be sitting there the whole time. I would have to go into a classroom and grab a ruler, cut and stab the thing, and then toss out the turd cutter. Sorry if this is too much info. I switched to a career not too long ago and just needed to get that out. It's like therapy. My mother taught elementary school for 35 years. 2nd grader told his teacher he was going to shoot her. Teacher blows it off. Next morning my mom waits for the kid to get off the bus, follows him to class and grabs his backpack when he puts it up. Yep, she found a loaded revolver. No news, nothing. Cops came, but the principal kept it relatively quiet. This was Houston, mid to late 80s. Wife has been teaching for about 15 years. 8th grader in foster care sat in the front left desk, draping his jacket on his right side. Proceeded to whip his junk out and go to Cranktown during class. Wife noticed, called for help without the rest of the class even knowing. Kid didn't get the satisfaction of her looking scared, etc. Hopefully the kid got help. Brother taught at a last chance high school while he was coaching football at another high school. A 17-year-old girl walks up after class and calmly says, "Coach, I wanna suck your cock." Brother was in his mid-20s at the time. Said half a second flashed by then, No, come with me." Walked her down to the office, sure he's about to get arrested because she will twist the story around. Thankfully she didn't. Brother quit soon after. Not worth the risk for a young guy.
Like and subscribe for more funny, interesting, and scary r/ask Reddit videos.